Well, I wanted to do a update on the JMax by 1zpresso. It's been 1 year now since I've had this grinder. Just wanted to show the condition after daily use and talk about cleaning a little bit and also calibration. Um, Overall, I mean, this thing is a tank, so I think the worst possible damage that you're going to get would be the finish. But I really don't have anything except for there where you've got metal on metal contact, so that's not surprising. But I've already cleaned it up a bit, so I just wipe it down, obviously with the brush that comes with it, and I use compressed air. I have a compressor, so it's much easier to use a compressor. And I've found that distilled water is the best thing typically for cleaning. Um, so that's that really. The only thing that I was going to point out, because I was kind of concerned, is that when doing RDT, spraying your beans with distilled water before grinding, and 1zpresso says, hey, don't use any type of water at all in here. So there's always that decision that you're going to make. Am I going to follow the manufacturer's recommendations, or am I just going to risk it and go ahead and do it? So to me, it was not a huge risk. It's only $200 grinder. So obviously corrosion would be the concern there. And initially I looked in here and I thought, that almost looks like rust or something, but it's not. It's just old, oils from the coffee beans from a year of grinding. You can see on this wall right here, sorry, this is a little awkward. It's looks like new. All I did was took a Q-tip and a little distilled water. Now, if you had the long Q-tips, this would really work good, and just wipe down the wall like that. Just gonna, and it will be as good as new in there. If you want to be OCD, like I can be at times. But if you had a long Q-tip, you could just get right down in there and clean it up, and it would look as good as new. So wear and tear, no issues at all, 5 stars. One of the main things that I've learned, though, was that you really need to calibrate this like once a week. I got out of whack with mine, and I started going through all sorts of problems, and I couldn't figure out what was going on, and it was just out of calibration. So I was just going to show you how simple it is to calibrate this. So if you take this apart to clean it, you take out your burr and all the fancy words, and then you're putting it, you clean it, you put it back together. This has got a key. There we go. Put your dial back on. Now I'm pushing this up like this. It's spring loaded. And I'm gonna screw this down. And now you have to calibrate down to 0. So the way I do it, this is 110, right? 90, 100, 110. Now I'm going to go all the way down to 0. And I've already bottomed out, so I've tightened this too tight. So in order to adjust it, I need to go back, unscrew this a little bit. Moving back towards 0. My goal is to hit 0 and have it bottom out to where I cannot turn it. So I can turn it too far now. So I need to screw it in now. We're talking a couple of notches at a time at this point. Here we go. I'm turning that pretty firmly, so I can go a little, tiny bit, like 4 clicks farther than I want to. So this is probably going to be a 1-click adjustment. Where are my marks? There we go. And now I've zeroed it out. I'm sorry if I didn't have that turned right, but now I've got it zeroed out. What I usually do is I'll go back and forth a little bit a couple of times, turn this, make sure that that's seated, and I can repeat going down to 0. So that's the calibration process. So you want to do that like once a week. Back to my original grind. So that's all I have for you. Just thought I'd give an update, and hopefully that is helpful to somebody. I am enjoying this grinder. I think it's an incredible value. So farewell. Take care.